I am live, even though I just said I wasn't going to be, but now I am. That's my song for the night. Make sure I look good for you guys. Make sure I'm all, I'm all crooked and stuff. My nose looks super crooked because of the shadow of this light. See if I move just a little bit that way. It's all okay. I know I said I wasn't going to be live, guys. I said I wasn't going to be a second ago. I just said I wasn't. But now I am. Because I'm a dirty liar. I had a kid-related issue. I had a kid thing. I thought I had a kid. I thought there was a kid-related issue. There was not a kid-related issue. It was all a dirty lie. All of it. One giant dirty lie. Sons of bitches. So, I am here. Hopefully, all you ladies, gentlemen, and llamas will be here. I did have to take the kid's phone away. But, now we're here. So, we are actually starting on, right on time. Right on time. Yay. So, here we are. We're doing it. Election day is over. I am so glad I don't work for the Board of Elections anymore. Yeah. Hey, Talon, and hey, Kurt. How are you guys doing? So we... Hey, haven't seen you in a while, DW. How you doing? I am so glad I don't work for the Board of Elections anymore. But I did vote. Didn't get my particular choices here in Pennsylvania. But, that's democracy. That is the representative republic that we have. The constitutional republic, I should say. I'm addicted to these things. They put the Coke back in the Coca-Cola, I guess. I don't know. I can't stop drinking them. So, I thought that tonight, I'm going to show you a couple things that I've been working on. And I thought that the crookedness, you know what? It's not that it's crooked. It's that I have a light on one side and it's casting shadows and making it look uneven and making me crazy. We could talk about BattleBots a little bit and how they were doing. I thought I'd show you a couple things. And then we would do, people always love when I do the military Q&A. So I thought we'd do military Q&A. Oh my God, they're doing it, Kurt. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But when you get your, what do they call it? The part that the artificial leg connects to, send it to us at the shop and we'll dip it for you and make it all fancy. We do that all the time for veterans. We have like an agency that works with us and we dip them. And I don't think the veterans pay anything. A lot of marine desert camo going on. Aaron, hello from Ontario. Prosthesis. That's it. That's the word I couldn't think of, Kurt. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, we'll do some military Q&A for those interested and want to ask some questions. I just got a great refresher from an Intel friend on the T90 and why it is failing miserably in Ukraine. And why the Javelin is able to defeat all the fancy countermeasures that the T90 has, which is pretty cool. Getting back into, I know I mentioned the other channel. Dave, that bag is still sitting there on the desk. I'm just saying. It's still there. Getting back into the, Carrie, how you doing? The model channel stuff. I decided to do this. So, it's not glued together yet. So this is an M41 Walker Bulldog. It's an old light U.S. tank, but I figured I'd do something special with it. Sorry, it's not glued together. So instead of painting Cryptek Altitude Hydrographics as the main camouflage on this thing, it comes out so well. So this will be a future video on the Air Force Builder channel as I'm going. But this is just fun to do. It's cheesing. It's fun to do. So we got that. Oh, all right, Kurt, I understand. We've got, so I posted a picture of this on Instagram the other day, this lighter. This is the camouflage pattern that me and Darren call multicam on acid. I love this. It's all the same colors as multicam, but like a really crazy ass pattern. So just to mess with it a little bit, I did this Zippo in it. And this is going to be given away to one of my Patreon guys. I have to do the whole drawing for it, but this is going to them. I just got one of the Zippo butane inserts for it because I had been carrying this around for so long. I just sort of like lost the actual insert for it. But we did an e-bike in this for a company. And it's a really cool pattern, but it's like all the same colors as multicam. And it's just very disruptive pattern. It's awesome. Hey, COD fan, how you doing? Glad you're here too. Yeah. So that's going on. What else have we been working on? Really interesting project in the shop too. So single or just single, Dave, single yellow flame, actually, specifically yellow. So it doesn't have that chemical blue look. It makes it yellow. I don't know how it does it, but it does it. Where is it right here? It is right here. So this will go in there. And coming up on the channel, I don't know if you guys have seen online the ads for like the steampunk. It's like a round and it's got a glass windows in each side. You can get them like build it yourself, or you can get them pre-assembled. I got one of those, and on the channel you'll see the whole assembly of it, and then in the end I fill it with lighter fluid, Zippo fluid. We sparked it a couple times. That's pretty cool. I did that. So that was fun. Oh, good old boy. You know what? You'll be interested in this more than anybody else, I think. This will be a project on the Air Force Builder channel soon. Old Korean War era light and Vietnam era light tank that I did in hydrographics. Still working on it. So anyway, got that coming up. I was in my mind is like, woo, woo, woo. Oh yeah. So gun project in the shop that you might see a video on and you might not. So we have been working on getting the production arm. So when we do, you guys have seen hydrographics. I've done videos on it, and I'll probably do more videos on it. We have an automatic timed robot production arm, so that there's Xbox on the background. Awesome. So what we can do is do multiple things in repeatable processes. Like production. And so we've been working to get the timing on that exactly perfect. So I may or may not have some videos of that working to do multiple pieces in the same pattern, in the exact same, going soon. But one of the more unique things that we've got coming up, and again, I may be able to get a video of this. I may not. I'm not sure how the process is going to work out. I'll definitely have pictures on Instagram. Older gentleman, and I say older, and I mean he might have actually been old enough to have used one of these. He picked up a reproduction of an M1 Garand. He's not old enough today to run around with the actual 13-pound. What is it? 13, 20 pound. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. Let me look it up, guys. M1. Wow, that's it. 9.5 pounds. Okay, I thought it was heavier. Anyway. The actual 9.5 pound rifle. Are you sure it's only 9.5 pounds? I thought it was like 13 pounds. Anyway, he isn't old enough to run around with that whole thing. So he got himself a reproduction with polymer furniture, and it's like 5 pounds. What he wants us to do in the shop is to make it look like, in his words, from about 10 or 15 feet away, like it might be a real, actual old M1. So, today I was working on dipping the stock in a the actual hydrographics film is called Old Rosewood. I know that's not what the stock was. I get it, but the look of it with the right base coat and everything looks very much like an oiled up in the armory in one Garand. Unfortunately, the film that we had was pretty old, so there was a lot of cracking through the finish. So we're going to have to order some new film. It looked great. Besides that, it genuinely looked like the way I had dipped it and rolled it looked like a solid piece of wood. But And then for the top, Cerakoted with the color Federal Brown, and you'll see it. Like I said, if I can't do a video, splice together a video of it, I'll absolutely have pictures on Instagram to show you how we take this modern day polymer reproduction and make it look like an actual issued wooden stock, piece of rifle. It's and of course it's still going to have rails on it because it's modern, but it's a pretty good looking rifle. So hopefully we'll be doing that. What kind of wood furniture does it have? Like I said, plastic wood, plastic hydrographics wood furniture. So yeah, Dave, this one is about 5 pounds altogether. With his because the plastic weighs nothing. All the weight on this reproduction, it's all in the barrel and the mechanism, all of it. Oh, hey Chris, how you doing? I'm glad I got the E4 support. As long as the specialists are all okay with it, we're good. So yeah, hi Tim, how you doing? Welcome. So all of the weight on this thing is all in the barrel and the mechanism and everything, because the actual polymer stock weighs nothing. I mean nothing. And then the handguard cover that goes up front, also polymer, weighs nothing. So you know what, Patriot? I would love to fire an actual M14. I've never even held one in my life. However, today we got a Steyr, we got an AUG A3 in the shop today, and it was just a joy to handle and mess with, because how often in your life do you get your hands on a Steyr? It was really cool. Magazine was a lot harder to put in than I thought it would be. The magazines do not like to fit into that thing easily at all. Certainly not as easily as an AR-15. But it was. It felt like. It's like, I gotta say, it is like the spaceship of rifles. It's just like everything is contoured. It feels like it wants to be held. If it's still in the shop tomorrow, I'm going to do a video on it. If the guy has not come to pick it up yet, it's the purpose-made Steyr brand waffle mags. It came with 2. So yeah, if it's still in the shop tomorrow, I'm gonna do a quick video on just it. And remember so it's the A3. It's not the old one with the original. The original AUG has, molded into the stock and optic and everything. This one has a flat rail on top, so it's modernized. It's pretty nice looking. I really enjoyed getting to mess with it. I did put a picture up of it on Instagram today. That's absolutely true. I could not have been happier to mess with it. They sure do. I saw on the invoice 87 something for 2 magazines. Yeah. They are hard to get in there, but it feels like a great firearm to hold on to. And talking about this is absolutely 100%. I agree with this statement. One of my earliest knives was a Schrade, and I loved it. I'm sorry the computer's a little wobbly, guys. But so the thing is, if we work on a gun, we have to shoot it. If we do maintenance on a gun, we have to put it back together, and we have to put a round through it. We have to make sure it operates. Usually if it's, we usually put 3 just to make sure it cycles and everything. If it's just a brand new firearm for transfer, we don't shoot them. But I do have to take them out. I have to make sure it's in good condition. I have to physically put eyes on the serial number, and I may work the action back and forth once or twice just to make sure it's, complete and operates. I won't shoot them though, because, they're brand new most of the time, or they're for transfer, not. But yeah, we do put rounds through anything that we rebuild or we build or we have to take apart and do maintenance on, and especially if it's a mechanism related thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, That's going to be it is going to be a bitch without a sandblaster. It really is. Morning to night. Advertising Henry rifles. That's really cool. That's really cool. I paid a visit to my storage unit the other day just to go check on the knife collection, make sure they missed me. I just reached it. I did a random, like, I'm going to pull out the knife that the universe wants me to have. And the universe wanted me to have the Kubi Hydra, the one that they only made 500 of. And it's one of the weirdest looking knives in the world, but titanium and looks like a Batman knife. But oddly enough, this is the knife that the universe wanted me to have, wanted me to carry today. I didn't need to use it for anything, but this is the one that I ended up carrying. It's a good knife. It's a little weird. Looks like somebody broke the tip off of it, but it is. It's solid, man. It is a good knife. So, and of course, still. Nothing has taken my favorite EDC spot away from the Giant Mouse Corda. It is still right now my absolute favorite EDC blade to have in my pocket. So there it is. Evapo roast and high grit sandpaper is what I'm using. Well, I mean, this is one way to do it. I am fortunate to have all the tools in the shop that really help me work on stuff, and like having that sandblaster available is like, boom, done. Of course, the sandblaster leaves pitting and stuff. So if I wanted to level the surface, I'd have to use a belt sander or something like that too. But like what Dave is saying, absolutely, you got to be careful of those belt sander systems because they can be a bitch. A lot of people say they don't like the Work Pro, the Ken Onion Work Pro, but I find that the people that say that have not invested the time and effort to really figure out how to use that thing as a sharpening system. But that's neither here nor there. So, what is down there? Random stuff. My console is going to turn off automatically within 5 minutes. You guys can see that right there. I've been rerunning through Far Cry 4 again because it's fun. So use my Leatherman signal to hook a can of soup on the top shelf. Yeah. I wonder what that fellow shopper thought. Yeah. So in terms of military Q&A, anybody have a question they want to ask? Anybody? Because, if you want to, I'll answer. If not, we'll just keep talking. I don't care. I also have a video review on a new energy drink I found that, it's a very brief review, but it's a hell of a, all I'm going to say is as a spoiler, it's a hell of an energy drink. I've never played Borderlands 3. I played Borderlands 1 and 2 and the pre-sequel. I've never played 3. I am thinking of getting Tales from the Borderlands. Good old boy, YouTube will throw ads on whatever they want now. What's the difference? Let's see. What's the difference in Army rank versus Navy rank? Why are the maze in the Navy? I'm not sure what you mean by the maze. But what's the difference in Army rank? So in the Navy, there are two different ways that they do rank. So they have rates and they have their actual grades, what we think of as ranks. So in the Army, your rank, and when we talk about rank, really mates. Okay, mates. Why are the mates in the Navy? Because that's a traditional thing. Gunner's mate, something mate. And again, that's a rate. That's their rating. That's not their rank. So their rating is similar to what in the Army we would call the MOS, right? Military Occupational Specialty, basically your job. So the way that the Army has it is, so everybody in the military, let me break it down, has a pay grade. Everybody in the entire military, E1, E2, E3, E4, and so on, up to E9, okay? And then there's officer, well, there's also warrant officer ranks, but we're not even going to talk about them because they're like a mythical unicorn creature that sometimes exists, but only when you directly look at them and whatever. And then there's officer ranks, O1 through O10, but you never see an O10 either. So pay grade is what we use to establish really where somebody sits in the chain of command. That's a bad way to say it too. Pay grade is how you know who outranks who. Okay, that's like, so an O2 outranks anybody below that. And E6 outranks anybody below that. Okay. A rank is where you sit in the chain of command. So you might have somebody that sits in the first sergeant position, and this is where it can get complicated. They might actually be in a lower pay grade than somebody who's not in that first sergeant position in that unit, but their position, their ranking in the unit might actually give them some authority over it, which is, again, a confusing concept. In the Navy, their rates have to do with where they're rated against other people in that same career field, in that job. And I know this from talking to Darren and Max. So the Navy has lots of mates because the mate is somebody, you can think of it the way the Army has skill levels for different things. So in the Army, your MOS, you start at a 10 and then a 20. So like DocP 91B, back when 91B was a combat medic, you get out of medic school and you're a 91B 10. And then you work your way up 91B 20 and 30. And, you know, so the mate levels and then, you know, gunner's mate, third class, second class, third class, those are all different levels of experience. In the Air Force, we had the same kind of thing. So you would be a 3 level, a 5 level, a 7 level. And those are also associated with sometimes getting promoted to different ranks and pay grades, and sometimes just completing different upgrade and skill level trainings. So the Navy is really confusing because they use completely different sounding rank terms and rating terms than anybody else. Now, if you're going to ask me to compare one Navy terms to anybody else, I can't do it because it's a different language and I don't care. And I don't know. So the senior chiefs they're senior NCOs. A chief petty officer is, petty officers are NCOs from, I believe, just like anybody else from E5 on up, but like a senior chief would be like your higher level senior NCO. Like a chief master sergeant in the Air Force or a sergeant major in the Army. They're up there. So, chief petty officer, senior chief, and on up like that. Just like we have in the Army, you have master sergeant, and then sergeant major, and then command sergeant major. In the Air Force, you have master sergeant, senior master sergeant, chief master sergeant, command chief master sergeant, stuff like that. They're just stacking on top of that NCO rating. I have some cool pictures of Russian American ships from Gitmo Naval Lab. I wonder what they have there. The disrespect you had for petty. Well, you know what's funny? They put petty in the name. I mean, so it's almost like the Navy, but the Navy, I think almost more than any other branch, has a big division between their officers and their enlisted men from the way I see them, the way I see them conduct. So to call their NCOs petty officers, I really see that as a cultural kind of way the Navy has, how and they're like, they're just petty officers. They're, it's like a really weird way to say it. You know what I mean? It's, why would you put petty in the title of somebody's job, of somebody's positioning, and then expect anybody to respect that? It's ridiculous. The term sergeant to me, commands some respect. Petty officer just sounds like give him the shit work, because that's what they do. But, I have a lot of respect for a lot of, the thing is, in the military, we all bag on each other all the time, cross service back and forth. But, I've worked with a lot of excellent Navy personnel on the ground. I've never been on a ship, that I wasn't taking a tour of. So I've worked on the ground in several places with a lot of Navy personnel, and they've been spot on. And there's always, every organization has their shit bags, and every organization has their shit hot guys. And Navy had some good folks. Their corpsmen are excellent medics. They're I think, what do they call them? Fleet field something. They're corpsmen that they go out in the field as combat medics. Are excellent medics. I've worked alongside them, and they're really good guys. They know what they're doing. I was on guard duty when I was general. I believe I have heard of General Shoemaker. I have heard of a 4-star General Shoemaker. The name rings a bell. I knew he existed in the chain of command at one point. I don't know why that name rings a bell, but it really does ring a bell. And it's funny too, because when you're so Mosquito Wings, if you don't know, that's in the Army. That's an E2. That's like one step from the bottom. An E1 wears no rank. You got nothing on your collar. An E2 has one stripe. That's why they're called Mosquito Wings. When you're at that rank, people up above you, like a general, seems like a god. And then you get to time you're an E7, E8, you're just like, you're really going to come bother me with this? Like, I got to put on this dog and pony show for you because you happen to have stars on your collar? Are you serious? But, you don't say it to their face because you don't want to end your career over that stuff. You snap to and salute and say yes or no, sir. But in the back of your mind, you're not thinking of them like, oh my God, what a godlike individual with stars. You're just like, you douchebag. Listen, if I went to college before I got in, I could be a general too right now. I just did it the other way around. I did college after I got in. It's interesting there, and really, really good officers. I'm going to say really, really good officers know to let their NCOs handle the troops. Not to say they don't get involved, but really good officers give orders to their NCOs and let the NCOs make the stuff happen, and don't try to micromanage. And I've worked for both. I've worked for the officers that want to, write out every individual work detail name by name, which is not what an officer should be focusing on. And I've worked with officers that were very good, that had an NCO call and said, here's what needs to happen. Put your sections to work and report back to me. And that's the way an officer should be handling business. But what do I know? I'm just a dirty NCO, right? So anyway, what else you guys got? Of all the questions that could have been asked, it had to do with a service I was never in. Luckily, I spend all my time all day around 2 retired Navy guys. So, and my phone went boobity boop boop. My phone's always going boobity boop boop. Oh, somebody on LinkedIn. I don't know. Boobity boop boop. I know I missed Barrel and Blade this month. I'm sorry, but since the switch from the blueberries to the new, back to the DT. But listen, I love how often the Navy switches uniforms, by the way, and how many uniforms the Navy has. I think the Navy wins on having the most uniforms, by the way. And I feel like the Navy switched back to, if you guys are, okay, so for those who don't know, the Navy has switched uniforms again, apparently to uniforms that they were supposed to have in the first place and didn't. And then they just sort of kind of piggybacked on the Marine uniforms, but now they're going to them. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think if I had my way, as a guy that's not even in anymore, the whole U.S. military would be back in BDUs with black shiny boots, starched, pressed uniforms every morning in formation. I loved coming to work with creased sleeves, rolled up sleeves, and spit shine boots, and making, airmen or privates feel bad that their boots weren't as shiny as mine, because I have a huge ego and I'm an asshole. But no, to me, that was a way when you got a new troop in, if you knew nothing else about them when they were reported in, if you knew nothing else about them, you could look at them and say, they give a shit about showing up and looking good. And I can work with that. Now, that's not to mean that that makes them a good person. They could still be a terrible, crappy troop, but at least it shows that they have a certain level of discipline, What about Going Gear Club? So there was a problem with Going Gear this month. And so if you're not aware, I had a talk with somebody. They actually had some sourcing problems, and they were cool about it and identified it and said, we have some sourcing problems. We're going to make it up to you. I will definitely be getting my box this month. So yeah, I was a little upset about Going Gear, and I thought maybe the box got lost in the move or something like that. But there was some people just didn't get their boxes. There was some items that they had really limited supplies of, really limited supplies. I talked to them. They're very cool guys. They were awesome guys. Oh, I need to put this out. I need to do a video. I just haven't gotten around to it. Crate Club sent out a brand new trail cam. I haven't used it. I haven't messed with it. I'm probably going to pack it up and send the box right to Adam with that brand new trail cam in it, because I think if I tried to use it and it didn't work, I'm likely to throw it through something, and I don't want to break Adam's trail cam. I'm going to let him destroy it if it doesn't work. I'm going to let him be responsible for that. So yeah, that's going to be, but I want to give them credit, and I will in a separate video. I want to give them credit for sending the thing out, and taking responsibility for that and saying, hey, this thing didn't work, so here's a new camera. There was nothing in it. There was no note in the box. There was no instructions or here's what you need to do different. It was just a box with a trail cam in it. Unexpected. Didn't know they were sending it. Had no idea. Adam did say that he was going to get in touch with them and say the trail cam doesn't work. They sent a new one. That's pretty good. That is very good customer service. They didn't ask for the old one back. They didn't say, prove it. They didn't say, what's up? They just sent the new trail cam. So got to give credit where credit is due. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I appreciate them for that. Any new knives coming out that I am interested in? There is one. There's really one that I'm interested in. Off the top of my head now, I can't remember the name of it. CRKT has a new knife in the Forged by War series coming out. I can't remember the name. But I like to check out anything in the Forged by War series. Oh, I can't remember. I remember the designer's name is Rodriguez. He's a newer designer. He's certainly new to CRKT. And I cannot remember the name of the knife off the top of my head now. I just saw it on Instagram a couple days ago. And I'd really... I'm sure if I get my hands on it, you guys will be, the first to know. But I don't know off the top of my head right now. I'm just scrolling on my phone, seeing if it's like right up here, and it's not. So I'm sure I'll find it sometime in the near future. I don't know, but it looks like a nice knife. It has CRKT's VEF serrations, which I'm not a big fan of, but it is what it is. I can't control that, so I'll have to get it. Being broke down. Oh, no. Well, that sucks, good old boy, but thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you spending a little time. And we'll see you. So, who's got another question? Any other questions? Because we're probably going to do military Q&A next week, too, unless I come up with a better topic. Any other questions? It's going to get real boring real fast. I'll just babble otherwise. So I can babble about anything. I can babble about everything. There's a problem also with the boys are doing good. The boys are doing real good. Ethan is putting up YouTube shorts now of ridiculous things. And Aiden is just doing his thing. What am I thinking? Barrel and Blade. You guys might have noticed I also didn't do a Barrel and Blade unboxing. That box got lost in the move. I got the knife of the month. They sent them both to the old address. I attempted to have the actual level 2 box forwarded here. It got lost in the forwarding. They were willing to send another box. You know what? They were totally down with it. And I was like, you know what? Just send the next month's box to my new address. I just forget it. There's so much going on. But I want to give credit that they were willing to send a new box to here. So, in case anybody noticed, hey, Dominic, what's up? So in case anybody noticed that I didn't do the usual Barrel and Blade box, it's not on them. It's just by the time things got sorted out, I was like, you know what? I'm so swamped with stuff right now. Just thank you. I appreciate it. Just please, change the address for next month. And I've got the shipping notification for both the knife of the month and the level 2 box for Barrel and Blade. So we'll have those for next month, for this month, for November. Yeah. In fact, let's see right now when we can expect those. I'm going to check it right this second. Okay, well, the delivery date will be posted as soon as possible. The label has been created. So how about that? I got another one the other day. I don't know. What's really cool is that they actually, there's going to be a slight delay in shipping them. And they sent an email out to all their subscribers to let them know that their freight company is experiencing a delay with their pallets of one item. They said, we're hoping to receive by Wednesday 11/9 so we can ship it out by 11/10. And, communication is the key. Just say, like, that email, hey, we think there's going to be a little delay. We're letting you know now. That's awesome. Do you think BattleBox is doing since the back and forth a few months ago? I thought that this BattleBox was decent from what I can remember, because I haven't looked at it since I did the unboxing. And if you've seen the unboxing, you know that I had a bit to drink for that one. The thing is, BattleBox keeps going back and forth. Number one, I understand that, yes, they're putting MSRP values on their card. I get it. Just about everybody does that. The problem is the value. Like, if they're going to keep going by MSRP, the value to me is the monetary value is never going to be there. It's not like it used to be. It's just not. They used to just give you more. And I get it. The economy is in the toilet. I get it. That's fine. But, if you've watched my video about like what are the value, well, like what's the different values of unboxings, that's only one of the different ways that you can measure. So Dr. Doom, hello, and thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But that's just, one of the ways to measure the value in boxes. I get it. I said it. I get it. The thing is, I feel like for every time they give like a really good box, then the next month they're sort of like, all right, we gave them a good box last month. Let's just throw in the rest of the junk in the warehouse. And there was a time where I was super excited every month for BattleBox. And now I'm just not, I'm like, I'm almost nervous opening up like what's going to be in this box. So this month, while I thought the values were a little nutty, I thought they were decent items. Yes, I do miss the Smoky Mountain boxes. Those were awesome. Yes. Those were great. And I think that, look, Monthly Knife Club in the Ultimate box, I'm aware that in that box, there's going to be some filler fluff. But the good items in the monthly Knife Club Ultimate box, whenever he has one to send to me, they're good. I mean, the value in that box is made up of the good items. And then I think of it as just like there's some extra stuff thrown in that I know I'm not going to like anyway. The Onyx is still keeping me very happy. I love the Onyx. Going Gear, the EDC Club, I love month after month. I love the EDC Club box. It's great. What else are we looking at? Crate Club, Survival Box. I just got an email from, and this is funny, from Nomadic. And if you guys remember, we used to do Nomadic on this channel years ago. And I did a few, and then I tried to unsubscribe, and they wouldn't unsubscribe me. And I just kept saying I thought it was very hipster, and very bougie stuff. And I emailed back. They emailed me, and they're like, "We think your channel would be a great fit for our box, and we'd love to provide you with a free box." And then they're like, $50 value. And I was like, I don't know if you really have done your research. You should go back and look at my reviews of your box before you make an offer like this, because I did check out your box, and I was not happy with your box, and I provided links to my reviews in my return email. And of course, I never heard from her again, but it would have been nice to at least hear, well, fuck you, asshole. Your videos suck. No. Never even came back to me. Dominic, are any new Zippos besides the ones from the last Zippo video? Dominic, you came a little late. I've been working on a couple custom ones. There, it's a fucking shiny thing on the camera. It doesn't like it. So I've been doing some hydrographic stuff. I'm going away to my Patreon guys. So here's an example of one that you won't find anywhere else. And a few others, yeah. West Virginia, love your videos. Thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate that. That is very nice. I knew a guy in basic training. I had a guy from West Virginia, and his name was Shoemate. I don't know if you know. I remember him because he was quite a guy. He was very skinny, and he was honestly probably the weakest guy in our platoon. But man, he had spirit. He was not gonna quit on anything. Do you think pushing out a specialty box, you can actually run out of new original items to put in them? Absolutely, Dan. This is the problem. This is the thing. So this is a great question. Yes. And this is where a lot of boxes fail. I think a lot of boxes start really strong because they have great ideas. And, in the beginning, everything's new. But sooner or later, you sort of run the gamut of all the good original ideas. And then you're either repeating things that you've done, or you're repeating things that other boxes have done, or you've got to reach so high that you no longer can sustain a good profit margin for you. And, you're just like, you can't sustain the box anymore. I think they absolutely run out of new original items to put in the box, or new original items that will provide good value, not for the consumer, but for the company, and again, that's what they care about. So shorts is a low effort way to get views posted in a short perch. So I don't know. I've never really liked YouTube shorts. I don't watch YouTube shorts. I mean, I want to watch a video. I don't really watch any YouTube shorts. Like if I'm at work, I don't want to have to keep so I'll have my phone propped up and I'll just have videos on. I don't want to have to keep looking up every 5 seconds as a new video starts to see what's going on. I want something long and drawn out. Oh, I did not know about that. I did not know about that. About the, surprisingly inexpensive ranches. I don't know anything about YouTube shorts being fun while high. Don't know. Don't know about that. I wouldn't know about that. I hate how much I love this stuff. I hate myself for it. And when, again, getting back to what Dan asked, I still have people saying like, "Hey, why don't you put together your own box?" And I'm like, "Because I know how fucking hard it is. I'm going to fail. I'm not going to let people down. I probably could put together a decent box for about 6 months, and inevitably, I would go the way of PMP. Not because I'd want to rip people off, but just because there's no way I could sustain that operation and provide a good product to people without going the cheap route and just taking money for a crappy product. I couldn't do that. Was going to go with boxes full of sister company stuff when they came out. You know what? This is a good comment. I thought that maybe they were going to start doing, because they were doing that for a while. If you think about it, they started on that route. They really did start to do that, especially like Lord and Field. They had Lord and Field everywhere in every box for a while. I'm with you. And then they I think that there was a little bit of backlash. People realized what was going on and they got called out for it and they stopped doing that. Would you ever do any YouTube shorts showing different items being dipped in the hydrographics? That's a good question. I suppose I could do that. Interesting. I don't know. You know what? I'd have to look into. I mean, I'm sure it's not hard to post a YouTube. I've never done a YouTube Shorts. I guess we could. I probably have videos on my phone or on the computer that I could put on my phone and then just trim them to be shorts already. That would be interesting. Yeah. I probably could. Why not? Sorry, I had to silence that call. And I'm going to turn the volume down now so that nobody interrupts us again, because nobody's important as you guys. Well, unless Megan Fox showed up. But I'd let you guys watch. Long video of dipped items, 20. I could definitely put this together. Absolutely put this together. I've got lots of dipping. I love watching things come out of the dip tank. I love that. Lord and Field Grade Soap Company, Southern Survival. Are there any companies or brands they own? Diana, so there are other. So I don't know if there's companies that they own, but there's like a conglomerate that. Well, since they were sold, I don't know. I gotta go back. I know that they were in like a. Maybe conglomerate's a bad word to use, but they were in a group that owned other stuff for a little bit. I don't know if since they sold off, I don't know if they're still in that. But they were with another like holding company, we'll say. I don't know, excuse me, if they're still there. Forehead is not where I would be looking anyway. My eyes would never be there, so don't worry. She's just the first name I could think of. Jennifer Lawrence, could we go with her if you want? I don't know. Okay, seriously. Who has Megan Fox in front of them and is staring at her thumbs? Come on, guys. Let's get serious. Hey, Jason. Welcome to here. You know me, Diana. You've seen the videos. I'm now going to be straight with you guys on everything all the time. Somebody messed with my Hulu password. That's what this text is about. So anyway, who's Megan Fox? Oh, Kurt. Google Megan Fox. Well, I don't know. New Megan Fox is a little bit. Transformers days Megan Fox. I don't. You know what? I don't even know if I don't even know. Wait, that's not where I was going. I don't even know if I'd call her an actress. I might leave it as Megan is very hot. I don't even know if I'd go with actress. But she sure has an interesting choice. Is she married yet to that guy? Machine Gun, whatever. Machine Gun Kelly, that's who she's with, right? Never mind. Why are we discussing this? This is so not what we need to talk about right now. Scarlett Johansson is gorgeous. Yes. And Ryan, Ryan Reynolds is the only man in the world who can say, like, I'm giving her up because I found someone better. No one else in history could do that. Jason, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Jason is not only is he awesome, generous here, he is an amazing Patreon supporter, and he is a box provider because Jason is just awesome. And Jason, you might have missed it. You're going to see it anyway, but for the next Patreon giveaway, this is one of the, I just finally finished up and got the butane insert for this Zippo that I've been working on at the shop, the custom one. So this is one of the things. I think you are thinking of Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton, but I don't know. It's Hollywood. Who knows what those freaks do? I'm not sure. You know why I can't? You know why not Rosario Dawson? I'll tell you why. Because I saw the movie Kids when I was like young, and nobody from that movie can I ever have anything to do with ever in my life. Nope. No. That movie scarred me for life, and she was in it. I think it was her first role. So boy, we are so off track. Why do these things always go in such a weird direction? Like these things are steered by Nemo's little fin, you know? We got 10 minutes. Let's do another military question. Somebody ask me something. Somebody ask something. Somebody ask me something about dogfighting or missiles or shoot, bullet, gun. What movie? I don't. Kids. There's a movie called Kids, Kurt. It's from the 90s. A lot of people thought it was an actual documentary where they follow these kids. Right? It was not. It was just like a very low budget movie. But it was supposed to look like a documentary. And it was terrible. Oh, it was just, it was awful. I have not seen the Colt 1911 Saber, but I will look it up. If you did a box, would it be more survival or EDC? This is a fantastic question. If you did a box, would it be more like survival or EDC? I'll tell you what, this is a great question because when I started this channel out, I probably would have been more interested in doing a survival kind of box. But today, with where I'm at now, I think I would focus more on EDC. Because I think there are so many survival boxes out there. I think we need more EDC stuff. So yes, I would focus more on EDC. To make W4? Like a tax form? I think it takes the IRS and the federal government. What happened to shit hit the fan? I stopped getting it. They kept screwing up shipping stuff. I kept having to like call them every month to be like, did you drop me or what's up? And I had to like resubscribe to it every month. It was a pain in the ass. The stuff was ridiculous. And so one day I was like, I'm not calling them back. If they remember to charge me and ship it, great. If not, I'm going to spend the money somewhere else. And that's what happened to Shit Hits the Fan. When you see the video about a grenade being dropped by a drone on a Russian guy sleeping, I did not see this. I did not, but that sounds exactly like something that would happen in Ukraine right now. I did not. Tom Quirin, I hope I pronounced that right. I'm doing great. And how are you doing? And are you preparing for the big Marine Corps birthday? Because apparently that's like bigger than anything for you guys, from what I hear. I think that's exactly right. I think, Warrant Officer 4. Oh, see, it said W04. What does it take to make Warrant Officer 4? I couldn't tell you because I don't think they actually exist. I told you, warrant officers are like unicorns. Being a helicopter pilot sure does help. But and now they got Warrant Officer 5s, Chief Warrant Officer 5. I have no idea. I've never met. I mean, I've seen them. I think physically I've seen them flying a plane called the RC-12, the guardrail. Yeah, the Army does have some planes. They fly helicopters and planes in the Army a lot, and they do other things too. There are warrant officers that do a host of jobs in basically every service besides the Air Force. The Air Force has no warrant officers. There was talk of making us warrant officers at one point because of what we do and our skills. What we do in every other military in the world, getting on the horn and talking planes through, missions and stuff, are done by officers. We're the only ones in the world that are NCOs that do it. But I've never interacted with a real life warrant officer. I still think they don't actually exist. They're all animatronics that the military has just to promote the idea that warrant officers are real. I don't know. See, I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think that was a guy they just had put on a uniform, and they were like, he's a warrant officer. I don't think. Hi, Craig. Craig's here. What's up, Craig? We're doing military Q&A for another 10 minutes or so. I think that warrant officers are still a mythical creature that was invented by legend. It's like you could tell your privates at night, like if you're a good boy and you eat all your food at chow and you obey all your orders, you might grow up to be a warrant officer one day, But no, the most I've actually seen them in real life is flying. When we worked with a unit that had those RC-12 guardrail planes, and we saw them out there by the flight line doing that. I remember that for a while, I think that you could get a commission as a warrant officer with an associate's degree, and for a while you didn't need any degree at all. Tom, I'll look in. I don't have a lot of time all the time, but you can hit me up on Instagram, send me a DM, and we'll see what's up. The thing is, the reason that there are three different things is because officers are commissioned by the president, and I cannot remember NCOs receive their non-commission from either the Senate or the House or the Congress, and then warrant officers are by the other one, the Senate or the Congress, one or the other. So technically, then you have three levels of leadership in the military that, and this is a big stretch, but once again, owe their allegiance to the president, the Senate, and the Congress. And it, that way it's checks and balances, kind of. I think that's a dumb theory, but it's true. So it's supposed to divide up the power a little bit like that, but not that it ever matters, because everybody is supposed to obey the orders of the president of the United States and officers appointed over them. So whatever. Yeah, Tom, you can email me. Tell us dumb things you saw people do. Oh my God, Carrie, I saw at Fort Bragg, I saw a captain, a company commander, in the middle of an exercise, in the middle of an OPFOR attack, run out the wrong side of his command post tent and get tangled in his own concertina wire. How's that for dumb? I was just talking about this with my dad the other night. Yeah, and his own troops had to go and untangle him from the concertina wire. If that's not the dumbest thing you've ever seen anybody do in the military. My other fun thing, and maybe we'll close this off. So the chief of staff, if you're not familiar, is the commanding general, the highest ranking general in any service. No matter what service it is, they're all the chief of staff. So I can't remember who the chief of staff of the Air Force was at the time. Okay. But we had a young airman first class. That's an E3. He wanted to be a combat controller. Now, this dude had just gotten back from tech school. He didn't know one end from a radio, from whatever. He wasn't qualified to do anything. And his job at that point, when you get out of tech school, you're a 3 level. Your job is to learn your job and become a 5 level, which is when you're qualified to do your job. This kid wanted to be a combat controller, though. That's all he wanted. He asked if he could go retrain, and the answer he got from the first sergeant, from our operations supervisor, OpSup, the chief, and from the commander was, listen, do your shit, master your 3 level, so you can go on to your 5 level. Once you get your 5 level and you put in your mandatory 18 months, then we will sign your retraining package. No problem. But you can't do anything without a 5 level. You're nobody. So this kid was very upset. Mind you, he's not even qualified to do any job in the Air Force yet. He has done nothing. He's gone to basic training and he's gone to tech school, like the school where you learn how to do your job. Well, he heard the chief of staff give a speech where the chief of staff of the Air Force says, I have an open door policy if you have any problems. Now, open door policy means you can talk to somebody in the chain of command, but it also implies that you have gone through all the other levels of the chain of command to get to them. So we have Mr. Airman First Class. We have the Chief of Staff, Commanding General of the Air Force. There's like 11 billion steps in between these two dudes, right? Okay. So the next day I'm walking down the hall and I hear yelling coming from the commander's office. And the yelling goes down the hall until somebody says, Marshall emailed the chief of staff to ask if he could be approved for retraining and why. And one of the chief of staff's like little lieutenants asked why we're not letting him retrain. Because combat control is, special operations. It's a critically manned thing. This dude, Marshall, never told the chief of staff, I'm Airman First Class nobody. I am not qualified on anything. I only have just attended tech school. I have not even attained my 5 level, and I'm not signed off on my basic skills yet. He just said my unit won't let me retrain into combat control, and I really want to. So our chief had to have a slow conversation with this guy's lieutenant. The lieutenant is basically the chief of staff's bitch. Well, here's why he can't retrain right now, and here's what he was told. But anyway, I like coyote, feet running, right? Like running and making smoke, but not actually going anywhere until I actually took off down the hallway. Had to stop myself on the door jamb to keep from sliding down the hall, stuck my head in the doorway and went, did you just email the fucking chief of staff? And he just looked at me, all dumbfounded, and innocent, goes, well, he has an open door policy. I have never, ever in my life wanted to strangle somebody so much in my life. But the thing was, here's the deal. We couldn't do shit to him because the chief of staff had his little lieutenant email us back, email the commander to say, what's up? You couldn't do anything to this kid because they were like, why won't you let him retrain? And so when the chief had the talk with the lieutenant talked to the chief of staff, and the chief of staff emailed the commander back and said, I have now been fully informed. I understand. Please deal with your airmen as you see fit. But we can't do anything to them because they're like babies. They're like babies. This guy ended up, the Air Force life was not for him. He thought joining the Air Force, even though we're a ground combat Air Force unit, he thought it was going to be more like Rambo, and didn't realize that it was a lot of get your shots, now do this training, now sign off on this. Now, you don't just show up and deploy. There's a lot of stuff you got to do to get to that point. You got to get qualified to go do it. And he did not fare well, especially once he made that first mistake in the earliest days. And he wasn't the smartest guy we had. What can I say? So that wasn't like the flat out, in your face dumbest thing. Certainly not as dumb as running into your own C-wire. But, oh, Dr. Evil, you showed up just at the point where we're about done. But it certainly was one of the dumbest things anybody's ever done in their career that I've seen. Slightly dumber was the guy, he was my troop that I was in charge of. He got in trouble while we were deployed, and while he was getting his Article 15, which is like below a court-martial, but like, you know, he had one opportunity to make a personal appearance in front of the commander to explain why the commander should go easy on him, and he was late to show up to that appointment. That is fucking dumb. That is very, very dumb. And he was like 10 minutes late, and he finally showed up to the commander's office. The commander kicked us all out. No, the first sergeant kicked us all out. And I heard yelling that I had never heard before at this poor young airman. I mean, he's an asshole. He was a poor young airman. Then we all got called back in, and the commander looked at me and just said, Sergeant Pinto, do you think there's a chance of redeeming this airman? I looked at him, and I looked at the commander, and I was about to try to say something, and he goes, you don't need to speak, Sergeant. I went, yes, sir. And that was that. So that kid was, that's another guy I've never wanted to strangle anybody. Between him and Marshall, I don't know. Williams and Marshall, I don't know which one I wanted to strangle more. Maybe one on each of them. I don't know. But, you know, you do what you can do. You educate and train the ones that will listen to you, and the rest will find themselves the door sooner or later. It happens. It happens. So anyway, guys, 7:51. We've been going for a little over an hour. I appreciate everybody that has showed up to ask some questions. I've got a Hulu issue to fix for the kids, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, thanks, guys, for joining me for another fun live. We'll do more military Q&A next week. And, of course, it'll devolve into whatever we end up talking about, just like it always does. Stand by for those videos we talked about and some more. And remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, as always. And I'll be back again real soon. And I'll see you back here, right time, next week.